Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and I was always told I had a voice radio. So today, I'm bringing back a series of videos I've not done for a while. Looking at overlooked cards that could be amazing techs. We looked in the past at the Clefairy from Evolutions. That looked like it could be a good card, and it did see a bit of play. I made an argument in a previous video that Gumshoe's GX should see a fair bit more play. I stand by that, although it hasn't really happened. Today, ladies and gentlemen, and it's because it was seeing a bit of play in Memphis this weekend. It's really making me look again at the Sudowoodo from Breakpoint, a card that I don't think I've ever talked about on this channel, partly because it was from a set just before I started doing reviews of every new card, and partly because until this weekend I'd never really seen it see any play whatsoever, but I think that might be about to change. So, we've got a little 90 HP basic Pokemon. Now, the basic is important. It means it can be dropped as a surprise, and it's a fighting type, which means it's hitting stuff like Zoroark GX for weakness, which is really important. And it's got a retreat cost of 2, which is rubbish. But none of this is important. What's important is it's a basic Pokemon with a decent attack that can be dropped as a surprise. For 1 fighting, 1 colorless energy. Watch and learn. If your opponent's Pokemon used an attack during his or her last turn, use it as this attack. You just get to copy the attack they used the previous turn. And if you want one good reason, and I've got more than one, but if you want one good reason why this could be an amazing attack, Zoroark GX. Zoroark GX was owning this weekend. It was a great card this weekend. And it has the attack Riotous Beating that does 20 damage for every Pokemon you have in play. So if Zoroark uses that, you then bring up your Sudowoodo, and then you do 20 damage for each Pokemon that you have in play. Except, I should point out that actually you don't. You do 40 damage, because Zoroark is weak to fighting, and Sudowoodo is a fighting Pokemon. So if you've got a full bench of 5, you've got 6 Pokemon in play, you will do 240 and get a KO. Even if you've only got 4 Pokemon in play, you would generally be doing 80 before weakness. You then add a choice band, you're doing 110. Doubled is 220, which is enough to get a KO on a Zoroark. Just as an anti-Zoroark tech, this could work very nicely indeed. Now, one thing I do need to point out here, and it's the same thing I pointed out with Clefairy. If you copy a GX attack here, you also copy the GX attack part that says only 1 GX attack per game. So you cannot copy more than 1 GX attack. So for instance, Lycanroc GX's Dangerous Rogue GX, great GX attack, does 50 damage for each bench Pokemon your opponent has. So if your opponent does that and they have 4 bench Pokemon, you can come along with Sudowoodo and get a KO on Lycanroc GX, but you don't just copy the 50 damage for every one of your opponent's bench, you also copy the you cannot use more than 1 GX attack per game. Just like with Clefairy, you can use it to copy a GX attack, but only once per game. So before we look at some more examples of how good this can be, we need to talk about where exactly we would use this. And this seems to be a great candidate for counter energy. We saw a little bit of the return of Persimmon this weekend, which shouldn't surprise too many people. Zoroark is ruling the format, Persimmon destroys Zoroark, brilliant. But Persimmon really relies on double colorless, so what people would do is they would play it with counter energy, and then you could use counter energy on Persimmon, or you could use it on a Cobalion, for instance, as a metal type attacker, or you could use it on this particular Sudowoodo, which is a fighting type attacker like Persimmon, but is more than just a fighting type attacker. This isn't the only thing that Sudowoodo does, unlike Persimmon, which is just a decent fighting type attacker. So it is a candidate for counter energy, and any deck that plays lots of counter energy should at this stage be playing at least 1 Cobalion as a good metal type attacker. And I also think very strongly that any deck that's playing multiple counter energy, should now at least strongly consider playing Sudowoodo from Breakpoint for this attack. If nothing else, it gives them a Zoroark counter, and everyone needs a Zoroark counter. But the other thing is, there's a whole bunch of fighting decks around. We've got the aforementioned Lycanroc, we've got Buzzwole, who's seeing a huge amount of play, so all you need to do is just go Max Elixir, which a lot of the decks were playing, and then add another energy and off you go. And most of the time here, that's what we will see. It will be a Max Elixir, attach an energy, off you go. You could, if you wanted to get fancy, use a Ninja Boy here, but I would not recommend generally using a Ninja Boy. It seems a little bit over the top. So, now that we know we can use it with Max Elixir in a fighting deck or counter energy in any deck, how about some other things it could be used for other than taking out a Zoroark? Okay, I know it's not the most widely played one, but I still think Tapu Bulu is due to come back in the near future, and I might do a video about that as well. But Tapu Bulu comes in, it uses Nature's Judgment. You can then use Nature's Judgment. Discard that counter energy attached to you, you do 120, get a KO straight away. That sounds good to me. How about Gardevoir GX? Now this is going to be a bit more difficult, but it can be done. With Gardevoir, we look at numbers in terms of multiples of 3, because Gardevoir's Infinite Force attack does 30 damage for each energy attached to both actives, and then you can use Choice Band to do 30 as well. So we're looking at 8. We need 8 in combination of energy on Sudowoodo, and on Gardevoir, and a Choice Band. So let's say, for argument's sake, you're using a Buzzwole. Well, with Buzzwole, the number becomes 7. So you've got 1 energy on a Buzzwole. Gardevoir comes in with 5 energy and a Choice Band to take a 1-hit KO on Buzzwole. You then come in with a 2 energy Sudowoodo and a Choice Band. Then the number's back to 8. You get a 1-hit KO on Gardevoir. Now, I know and you know that you're not always going to be presented with a 5 energy Gardevoir where you can go 2 energy Choice Band KO with Sudowoodo. It's not always going to happen. But we also both know that sometimes it will. Sometimes Gardevoir players overextend to get what they see as a key KO. So if you can then go Sudowoodo, Max Elixir, Energy, Choice Band, which is not outside the realms of possibility, you can then take out a Gardevoir and off you go. Want another great example? We've talked about it, but let's talk about it specifically. Buzzwole. Buzzwole comes in, does a Knuckle Impact to take a big KO, does 160. Well, if you come and copy Knuckle Impact for 160, add a Choice Band so it goes up to 190, and all of a sudden, Buzzwole's come in for free energy to get a big KO on you, and you've come in with a little basic with a counter energy and a Choice Band and taken 2 prizes, and knocked out one of their Pokemon with free energy attached. Just like I said previously with cards like Clefairy, Pokemon is about numbers, and there's a bunch of Pokemon around at the moment where Sudowoodo can come in and hit the numbers. It's great against Zoroark, it's great against Buzzwole, it's great against Lycanroc if they've used their GX attack, and there's even Pokemon like Gardevoir it can work against. Now, there's plenty of Pokemon like Golisopod, for instance, who are going to hit you for 120 and you'll then hit them back for 120 and you won't get a KO, but you're still doing 120, more than half KOing a GX with a non-GX. It's not exactly terrible. Your opponent is going to want to use good attacks. So even if you're not able to come in and get a big 2-prize KO, you're still likely to be doing some damage with Sudowoodo. But given how easily it can fit into some decks, as I've just shown you, and given how many Pokemon it can hit the good numbers on, as I've just shown you, it has got to be worth considering using this in the future. It's got to be worth having its own video. I will be back rounding up, going through all of the other cards that you need to know about from the upcoming Ultra Prism, but I had to take a break to talk to you about a card which, although it's been out for a while, really has not seen the love and could be just about to. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to hear from you guys. Do you think this is going to see more play in the future? Do you think it's a flash in the pan? Do you think it's just a couple of players? Let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and so on, you can do so by going to patreon.com/PTCGRadio. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.